Hello ladies and gentlemen, Sigvaldo here, and the day has finally come where I get the guts to rank the 10 best characters in Just 2 Mobile. For the longest time I have stayed away from this subject because this is a very controversial subject and everybody is going to come with their favorite character and be like, why isn't he there? But recently, as some of you know, I have made a tier list for the Just 2 Mobile characters, and I haven't received that much backlash as I have expected from it, and I have received positive feedback. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use most of the data from the tier list that I have made, and by the way, I'll leave a link in the description, so you should definitely check that tier list, and rank the characters that are in the S tier in the order that I think is the best. Also, I'm making this video because a lot of guys have made their attempts to making the top 10 characters in Just 2 Mobile, but I have not been satisfied with any list. Like, the most amount of satisfaction that I got from a top 10 characters in Just 2 Mobile was like 50% satisfied with that, and the rest I did not agree. And at the end of the day, as I did not agree with many top 10 characters in Just 2 Mobile, you might not agree with my top 10 characters in Just 2 Mobile, and that's okay. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, and if you have a different opinion, feel free to leave it down in the comments and we can have a discussion about it. And in terms of some characters, it's all down to personal opinion. All those 10 characters will be amazing characters. If you think that number 10 should be number 4, then you might be just right and you might have the arguments to prove it. This comes down to my personal opinion, but those I think are the best characters in Just 2 Mobile. How you rank them, it's up to personal opinion, but while ranking them, I'll take into considerations the following things. I will take into considerations how they perform in Arena, in Raids and Champions Arena. And yes, I know many of people play Just 2 Mobile only for Raids, but there's still 2 game modes that I'll take into considerations. And I will not take into consideration just how much damage they'll deal. I have a tier list for that, the best damage dealers in Just 2 Mobile, so you can go ahead and check that out. I will take into consideration in this list how useful they are in that specific place. So while a character might not deal damage at all in Raids by himself, him being there is going to be the thing that will enable that high amount of damage being dealt. So that is what I will take into consideration, and on top of that I will also take into consideration how versatile they are. How versatile meaning in how many teams they can be fit. And also, I will not care about how hard they are to get. This is not a list about the easiest characters to get, and some of the characters over here are going to be very hard to get, and that means they are not going to be very popular and very often played because not many players will have access to them. But that does not make them less of a good character. And at the same time, I will not take into consideration how often they are used, because yet again it relies on how hard they are to get, and I will not take into consideration how good they are in the campaign, because while some characters might be much better in carrying you in the early game through the campaign, at the end of the day any character with level 60 gears can easily finish the campaign. So with all that being said, comment down below for any questions about this or any opinions that you might have. Like this video if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it, maybe subscribe for more content like this, and let's get into it. And coming in at number 10 we have Multiverse Armored Supergirl, and I'm not going to go through each of the abilities in this video because it will make it very long and very annoying to watch. I'm just going to go over what each character basically does and why it is so high or so low on this list. So Multiverse Armored Supergirl will be an amazing character for Arena and Champions Arena, and a great character in Raids, and she will be able to deal a lot of damage upon Captain Cold, because she will be able to inflict critical attack damage on him, even though she is critical attack damage immune. On top of that, she will boost her critical attack chance and critical attack damage, and coupled with Multiverse the Flash, she is going to be able to not need any critical attack chance or any critical attack damage other than the base ones. So you can go with full attack on her. Of course, I recommend defense and resistances on the talents. So what's going to set this character apart from other characters that are good in Arena and Champions Arena, first of all, is that she works very well the Multiverse team, and she's got a passive that is going to interrupt, not this one, it's going to interrupt the special attack that is going to be used by the opponent, and also gain bars of power if you're interrupted. All you need to do is tag upon a Multiverse character that is already in it. So with all that being said, this character is amazing in Arena and Champions Arena, and is going to do extremely well in Raids against Captain Cold. Things that are holding her back are the fact that she requires a very specific team, and outside that very specific team she will not perform well at all, and she will not be able to trigger her interruption passive. and the fact that she is going to be able to deal only around 20 million damage in raids, maybe a little bit above. Characters on this list that are ranked as damage dealers over here are going to be able to deal much more damage than her. So overall, she's a very great character, but unfortunately requires a very specific team to play her at very good performance, and she does not have great versatility in raids. Overall, an amazing character, a character that I definitely do enjoy playing, and a character that definitely deserves this spot. You could argue for her being higher. I have put her on the 10th place because I consider the characters after her to be much better in some specific areas. With all that being said, let's move on to the next character. Next up, we're going to have Multiverse the Flash, who is an amazing support character for the Multiverse team. He's going to provide them a very big amount of critical attack chance and a respectable amount of critical attack damage, and on top of that is going to reduce the cost of their abilities. Like, if this guy would be applicable to any character in the game, then he would be extremely broken and he would by far be the best character on this list. But the problem is that the passive that is so amazing only applies to multiverse characters, and it's okay because there are a lot of multiverse characters that are going to benefit from it, and Multiverse Armor Supergirl that we talked about before will need to have him in her team in order to perform well. So why is he ranked higher? Because of the fact that he is in the same team with Multiverse Supergirl and Multiverse Armor Supergirl, and the fact that he enables her to deal so much damage, in my eyes, puts him at least as good as her in terms of ranking. And at the same time, you can go over here in the stats and see the fact that he has 3 fast attack hits, which means every time he triggers a fast attack, he will hit 3 times instead of 2 times, and this is going to enable him to be a decent combo builder for any other character, not only Multiverse Armor Supergirl. So while he is just as good in my eyes as Multiverse Armor Supergirl in terms of everything when he's paired up with him, in terms of being a combo builder, he has a little more versatility than her. So that's why he is ranked in the number 9. With all that being said, he's a great character, definitely deserving number 9 or even higher on this list, and let's move on to the next character. Next up coming on this list will be Shazam. Shazam is going to do very many great things. First of all, he's going to increase the attack of Arcane and Might teammates. Then he is going to disable the abilities that are used upon him with a chance to do so, and also has a chance to trigger his third ability for free, and also provides for his team a little bit of critical attack reduction. And his third ability is going to be amazing because this is going to heal your entire team, and this is going to be one of the main purposes of Shazam. Shazam is going to have 2 purposes. First of all, boost your Might and your Arcane characters in order to make them deal much more damage in raids and in any desired game mode, and at the same time he will be able to make them a little bit more tanky and heal his entire team. He's an amazing character, he's great for Arena, Champions Arena, and he's a great support in raids. Now, saying all this, it makes me think that I should have put him a little bit higher on this list, to be honest with you. But why I have put him so low on this list is because of the fact that he can only be paired up with Might and Arcane characters. Of course, you can pair him up with any character in the game, but you will lose that increased attack passive, and that's not desirable. So his only downside is the fact that he needs to be paired up with some specific characters in order to be good, and because of that he's going to lack versatility. And his passive, which will be Retribution of Zeus that I talked about, will be an amazing passive, but might not be so good in raids, and that's why it's not advised to use him every time as a combo builder, because if the enemy raid boss is going to trigger this passive when you're full health, your damage dealer is full health, you don't need healing at all, his third ability is going to trigger and you're going to lose precious seconds from the fight. And that is why for me he only got to number 8, but nevertheless he's an amazing character, the best character you can get from the arena. Is there any other on this list that you can get from the arena season and is ranked higher? No, the best character that you can get from the arena seasons, and the character definitely worth having. If you want to put him higher on this list, go ahead. I to some extent agree with you. With all that being said, let's move on to the next character. Coming in at number 7 we have Batman Ninja Catwoman. She's going to be a great character, a great damage dealer in raids, and an amazing character for Arena and Champions Arena. The fact that is going to make her so good is the fact that she's got the 9 lives passive, which will make her immortal for a couple of seconds when she drops below a certain amount of damage taken, and at the same time she's going to be able to get some power for every ability that is used upon her, and if she blocks it, she will use a special tree for free, and she's got healing on special too. Basically, it's going to be jack of all trades, master of almost everything. She's going to be amazing in any game mode that you want to play her. The only thing that's holding her a little bit back is that she needs to be used in a very specific team, which will be the Batman Ninja team, and at the same time she is going to deal, while dealing respectable amount of damages in raid, amazing damage, one of the best damage dealers. She will not quite be the best damage dealer, but overall an amazing character in no mattering which mode you are putting her in. And really, talking about those amazing characters, I come to realize that on this list, it's pretty much all up to personal opinion. I strongly believe that those 10 are the best characters in the entire game, but how you rank them up, it's totally up to you, because they are so amazing and so hard to differentiate. With all that being said, Batman Ninja CATWOMAN is going to be an amazing character, but unfortunately you need a very specific team for her. Now let's move on to the next character. Next up, we have coming up at number 6, the best damage dealer in the entire game. He's going to be amazing. He's going to be able to one-shot phase 1 in tier 8. He's going to also have some passives that are going to be amazing for other game modes. First of all, he has killing jokes. For every dead character on either team, he will gain a power boost. That will make him deal amazing damage against Gorilla Grodd and Brainiac in raids, and at the same time in Arena and Champions Arena, the more the fight goes on, basically the stronger he gets. Joker Venom is going to make his teammates' dot damage much higher. And at the same time, his third ability is going to have a chance to stun opponents when they tag in the fight, and that is going to be amazing for Arena and Champions Arena. And overall, he's going to be an amazing character, a very great damage dealer in raids, arguably the best damage dealer in the game. But the only thing that is going to hold him back is the fact that while he can perform decently outside his desired team, for raids at the very least, he really needs a specific team to perform well, and he can't be fit into any team. In terms of Arena and Champions Arena, while he is amazing, there are characters on this list that are much better than him. So overall, an amazing character. He made it so high on this list because of the fact that he is amazing in terms of raids, arguably the best damage dealer again. A character that you should definitely build if you have. Great character overall. Let's move on to the next character. Coming in at number 5, we have Justice League Superman. And Justice League Superman is a character that is going to be the best, arguably the best defensive character on this list in terms of every game mode, and is going to be maybe the best character on this list in terms of Arena and Champions Arena, but he's not any higher on this list because he's not going to perform that good in raids. He's going to perform decently in raids, but not as good as other characters in raids. So his main selling points are the fact that he's going to receive amazingly increased stats if you pair him up with Batman Ninja teammates, though that is also a downside because it makes him not very versatile and makes him need to have specific teams. Do You Bleed will increase the defense of legendary characters and the Justice League characters, including himself. That will be just amazing, a huge amount of defense worth around 4 talents. Protector is going to be an ability amazing for Arena and Champions Arena, which will make him interrupt the enemy's ability that if it's used on a teammate, come in, jump, deal a ton of damage, and he's also going to be a decent damage dealer in raids, and I have also seen him used as a combo builder in raids. He's not going to perform as good as other characters, but it's going to be decent, and the very important fact is the fact that he has healing on his super block. This is the only super block in the game that is going to have healing. So overall, this is the best, arguably the best character in the entire game in terms of Arena and Champions Arena, and he did not score higher because he's not as good as other characters in terms of raids. Most likely not as good as any damage dealing character on this list in terms of raids, but he's going to be so good in Arena and Champions Arena that I could not put him any lower. With all that being said, an amazing character, great character to have, just don't expect him to deal huge amounts of damage in raids. So let's move on to the next character. Coming in at number 4, we are going to have Arkham Knight Batman. Arkham Knight Batman is going to be an amazing character in terms of pretty much everything. He's going to have a passive that increases the defense and health of tech and agility teammates, also applying to himself. Multi-fear takedown will make the character that is in his team and kills a target to regain some health and some energy, make him amazing for Arena and Champions Arena. Free flow counter is going to be a thing that counters abilities from meta-human teammates, a little bit specific that but is going to still be great. So just saying this will make him a great Arena and Champions Arena character. But on top of that, he's going to also have a stun bomb. The stun bomb will be an ability that is going to affect the raid bosses, so it has a chance to stun raid bosses. So that makes him an amazing support character for a character that we haven't talked about at least yet, which is Heartbreaker Harley Quinn. He will use the stun bomb and then you tag in Heartbreaker Harley Quinn and she will deal an immense amount of damage. So basically that makes him an essential support character for one of the best damage dealers in the game, only second to last of the Joker in my opinion. And on top of that, he's going to be amazing for Arena and Champions Arena and amazing for supporting tech and agility teammates. So for all those reasons, he made it all the way to the number 4. So he is a pretty versatile character. He's not versatile just in terms of raids. In terms of raids, he requires a very specific teams. But in terms of Arena and Champions Arena, he's got a very great, very big number of teams that you can use him in. Basically, pair him up with any tech and any agility characters, and he will perform well. Of course, there are some characters that will perform better with him than others, but overall, an amazing character and an amazing legendary character. So with all that being said, let's get into the number 3 on this list. Coming in at number 3, we are going to have 2 characters. Of course, I'm going to show only one character, but they are basically the same. We will have Dr. Fate and the Power Girl, and you are going to watch this video, you might be a new player, and you are going to be like, wait man, I have this dude, I do have this dude, this is the 3rd best character in the entire game up to you. Yes, he is the 3rd best character in the entire game up to me, because his passive is going to be reducing the power cost of the special attacks for characters in your team, and this is going to, unlike the Multiverse the Flash passive, apply to every single character in the entire game. So what does that mean? It means that any single character in the entire game will benefit from him. Well, there might be better teams for those specific characters, but every character has the opportunity to benefit from this passive, and that makes him an amazing character and an amazingly versatile character, and he's going to be available in a lot of raid teams, and he's going to be required in a lot of raid teams and in a lot of arena teams. So basically, he's not going to get in there down and dirty and start pounding people, dealing damage or tanking huge amounts of damage, but he's going to have an amazing passive. And Power Girl, that I'm not showing right now, but it's on the same rank as him, will have more or less the same passive. The only difference between their passive is going to be the fact that Dr. Fates is going to decrease defense for the opposing team, and Power Girl is going to make herself gain increased attack during the duration of the fight, increased damage. So overall, basically they are the same to me, because if you are to use them as combo builders also, you are going to end up with more or less the same amount of damage, because Power Girl will simply deal more damage herself when she's building combo because of that passive, and Dr. Fate will reduce the defense of the opponent, so your damage dealers deals more damage. So basically those two characters are the same. I have showcased Dr. Fate, but Power Girl is going to be also just as good as him and in the same spot. So with all that being said, an amazing character that you can get your hands on very early, and the character that should be in any single roster with no exception. So if you already have Dr. Fate, show him some love, put him in some team, get him to 4 stars as fast as possible to promote that passive to reduce into power bars. And with all that being said, an amazing character, and let's move on to number 2. Coming in at number 2, we are going to have Batman Ninja Gorilla Grodd. So first of all, Batman Ninja Gorilla Grodd is going to be a must-have support for Batman Ninja Catwoman. So since Batman Ninja Catwoman was number 7, in my opinion, just by the fact that he's a great support for her will make him just as good as number 7. But other than that, he's going to have some amazing feats. So other than that, he's going to have Crippling Blow, which will, on top of increasing the damage of Batman Ninja teammates and himself, will make him decrease the damage and defense of the character for a certain amount of seconds for every 5th basic attack, and this is going to be amazing. And on top of that, he will also have Master Plan, which will make him gain bars of power for any successful lethal attack that he is going to deal. So overall, he's going to be a little bit of a less efficient Dr. Fate, and a much more efficient classic Superman. So for those of you who don't know, classic Superman is support that is going to be used in raids in order to decrease the defense of the boss, and Dr. Fate is also going to be able to be used in order to decrease the cost of your abilities. So you will need two characters to do those two things, or you can just use Batman Ninja Gorilla Grodd. Batman Ninja Gorilla Grodd is going to be amazing because of the fact that yet again that he's a great support for Batman Ninja Catwoman. He will also be an amazing combo builder because he reduces the defense and the attack of the enemy, and on top of that he makes you gain power. And on top of that he's going to also be a very great damage dealer if you are going to pair him up with Batman Ninja Catwoman and use both of them as damage dealers, and he can deal up to 2 million with his special 1 in some certain scenarios. And on top of that he's going to have a shield, and he's going to have the dramatic rehearsal, which makes him gain lethal attack chance and make him heal with a percentage of the damage he deals on basic attacks every time he is at 30% health or less. So with all that being said, an amazing character, in my opinion the second best character in the entire game, just for the versatility of this character. This character can deal huge amounts of damage, can be an amazing tank, and can be an amazing support character. With all that being said, let's move on to the honorable mentions. Yes, we're not going to number 1 yet, we're going to go over the honorable mention characters that just quite didn't make it on this list, but they are amazing characters anyway. Okay, very quick going over the honorable mentions. First up, we're going to have Silver Banshee at the honorable mentions, and she's going to be so good because of the fact that she deals huge amount of damage in raids, but unfortunately she's not amazing in Arena or Champions Arena, and she needs a very specific team, and she is going to hit a very specific boss. So because of all this, she didn't make it to the top 10, but she's an amazing character nevertheless. Next character in the honorable mention, which I'll most likely get a lot of BS because I didn't put him in the top 10, will be King of Atlantis AQUAMAN. And while he is an amazing damage dealer and a very versatile damage dealer, he can hit pretty much anything in the entire game in terms of raids. Unfortunately, he just isn't as good in terms of the other game modes like Arena and Champions Arena for me to put him on this list. But if you were going to put him on this in the top 10, I wouldn't have anything against it. It's just up to personal opinion. He's a great character nevertheless, one of the best characters in this list in terms of raids, but just raids. In terms of Arena and Champions Arena, he's going to perform above average, but not amazing. Next character on this list will be Heartbreaker Harley Quinn. She's the second best damage dealer in my opinion in terms of raids, but she requires a very specific team and she can hit some very specific bosses in the game, and at the same time while she's pretty decent in Arena and Champions Arena, I don't consider her that amazing in terms of those two game mods. So with all that being said, an amazing character, definitely a good damage dealer character, but she is going to be very hard to to pair up with, and alone she's not going to do amazing. Next character on the honorable mentions will be Entangling Poison Ivy. She's going to be the enabler for Let's Left the Joker and Heartbreaker Harley Quinn. So basically without her, they are not going to be able to deal that much damage in raids. So in my eyes, that puts her just as good as Heartbreaker Harley Quinn, but unfortunately not as good as Last of the Joker, because Last of the Joker, even though you'll always use him in the team with her, he has some feats to stand up on his own, and he can do pretty decently in Arena and Champions Arena even without her. But nevertheless, she is an amazing character, and she just slightly didn't make it into the top 10 characters. Next honorable mention will be Predator Batman. He's going to be amazing in Arena and Champions Arena because of his armor piercing attack. He's going to be the must-have support for Silver Banshee, so that makes him at least just as good as her, and he's going to be by himself a pretty decent damage dealer in raids. But with all that being said, he's going to be in some very specific teams, and he's going to be able to hit only some very specific bosses, and there are just better characters in my opinion on this list than him. But if you think he should have been in the top 10, I can't argue with that. He's a very good character, a very solid character, and a great support character for one of the best damage dealers in the entire game. And the last character in the honorable mentions will be Atlantean Armor AQUAMAN. He's going to have a passive that is going to heal him and all his allies every time he uses an ability, going to have armor piercing on one ability, and going to have a hazard dot damage that's going to drain power from the enemy, and also on top of that, dot's power drain will heal him. He's going to be an amazing character for Arena and Champions Arena, but unfortunately he sucks at raids. That's why he's not on this list. As simple as that, he sucks at raids, and you can't argue against this. Moving on. Coming in at number 1, we're going to have Black Manta. And I'm sorry, this guy is just too good not to put on the first spot. So hear me out. First of all, he's going to be a very versatile character. Not so versatile in terms of the team he can have. He can perform well in many teams, but he's going to have one optimal team, which will be him and Brainiac and Justice League the Flash in terms of raids, and him, Brainiac and Arkham Knight Batman in terms of the arena. But he's going to be able to hit many sub-bosses, going to be able to hit pretty much any phase, some better, some worse. So what is going to recommend him as being such a great character? First of all, the versatility. Hitting every single phase in the game. Not as maximum performance each one of them, but he will be great in each. Then he's going to have open wounds. Open wounds will block the opponent's heal, and also when Black Manta or a legendary ally is going to attack with any special ability, is going to inflict a dot damage, which is equal to a percentage of Black Manta's attack, which is going to keep draining out their HP. And unless your character is going to be a very tanky character, in 90% of the situation this is going to mean the whole health. So no matter what, it's enough one ability to drain the entire health of a character and leave them with 1 HP in most scenarios because of this. Then Revenge Mission is going to be the go-to for raids because it's going to increase his damage with every single basic attack, and it's going to keep stacking up to 100 times, and he's going to get a huge increase in damage overall. His third ability, Black Manta Suit, will give him an amazing boost into health, and at the same time he will get increasing damage reduction from blocking. Next up, Rising Tide, we don't really care, is going to give some power generation reduction. Manta's Beam is going to apply Burning. Burning is going to halve the opponent's defense, and he already has by himself means to reduce the opponent's defense in raids, so that's going to be amazing. And his third ability on top of that is going to have a chance to stun raid bosses. So overall, this is hands down the best offensive character in the entire game if you're taking into considerations all the mods. If you're taking into considerations Arena, Champions Arena and Raids, this is going to be hands down the best character in the entire game. Yes, he's not the best damage dealer in Raids, yes, he needs kind of a specific team, but you can't argue with me that this one is not the best character in the entire game. Well, of course you can argue, I'm a reasonable man, but I really stand by Black Manta being the best character in the game. I'm sorry. So with all that being said, this was the number 1 character in Just 2 Mobile. Well, to be fair, this list took a little bit longer than expected because I really need to express my points on some of these characters, and I wanted to end up by saying all the top 10 characters and all the honorable mention characters are going to be amazing characters, and if you wanted to put some higher on this list and some lower on this list, then I could definitely agree with you. So be sure to let me know down in the comments which characters you would have put higher, which characters from the honorable mentions you would have introduced into the top 10, and maybe which characters from the entire game you would have introduced into honorable mentions and top 10. With all that being said, at the end of the day, this is just my personal opinion. I don't think there yet exists a system from which to be able to tell objectively which is the best character in the entire game. I try to give my honest opinion on this one. If you got a different opinion, it's totally okay. Comment down below, we can discuss it. If you like this video if you like it, dislike it if you dislike it, subscribe for more content like this, and maybe hit that bell button to not miss an upload. And with all that being said, thank you very much for watching.